Hoop star Kobe Bryant is staging a public relations full-court press today, responding to mounting criticism over a heated anti-gay slur that he used during a game earlier this week. Now, the clip shows Bryant punching his chair and tossing a towel to the floor in frustration after being slapped with a technical foul. He directs the slur at the referee who called that foul. Now, Bryant says his words don't reflect his feelings toward the gay community. He's been fined $100,000 by NBA Commissioner David Stern for this outburst. I'm joined now by Marc Malusis. He's an on-air host for WFAN Sports Radio, and we're going to talk about what's going on with Kobe Gate now. So, Marc, explain to us, David Stern, as we said, dealt with this pretty fast. He put out this statement saying that Kobe Bryant's comment was offensive, inexcusable. While I'm fully aware that basketball is an emotional game, such a distasteful term should never be tolerated. So, in the sports world, obviously, again, he's talking about the fact that emotions run high in basketball. Right. What should Kobe have done in this situation to be a better role model for the stage that he's on?
Well, I think afterward he handled himself properly. You know, he talked to the Human Rights Campaign, he apologized, had a heartfelt conversation with Joe Solomonese, I believe, and he accepted his apology. I mean, I think Kobe Bryant on the court handled himself very poorly. I mean, you cannot be using that terminology ever. You know, even as heated as you are, even if you're upset with the NBA referee Bennie Adams that night, the fact of the matter is that language cannot be tolerated. Stern fined him $100,000 in the NBA. That's a pretty stiff fine. You look at it, it's basically a third of one of his game checks.
All right, so $100,000 isn't really a drop in the bucket for him. You think that is
I think the message, I think him getting called out on the court, I think him getting called out on the carpet here, Thomas, I think leads you to believe where he had to go out there and he went on, not only issued a statement, went on radio out in Los Angeles, talked to a gay rights activist group, apologized to them. I think Kobe Bryant afterward understood what he did, what his terminology meant.
All right, so we give him an A for cleanup. Right. But we give him an F.
For absolutely. I mean, you cannot be doing that. As Steve Kerr said on the TNT broadcast that night, it's time to put your camera, for the kids watching at home, turn the cameras away because he was using very blue language.
GLAAD President Jared Barrios said in a statement that professional sports players need to set a better example for young people who use words like this on the playground. The LA Lakers have a responsibility to educate their fans about why this word is unacceptable. So, Marc, how pervasive is this continually? Here we are in 2011.
Sure.
How continually pervasive is this in sports? To use derogatory language like this when you're trying to make a point about what you think is unfair?
Well, Thomas, I can't speak for every athlete in America, but I could say, just like in all walks of life, there are people that use terminology that some would find unacceptable, that most would find unacceptable. And I think in this case, there are athletes that probably use that terminology, whether they're with their friends, whether they're at the bar, whether in their clubhouse, whether in their locker room. But is it a case where you're walking in as a member of the media and they're throwing it around? No, it is not like that.
Do you think this is why we don't have more out athletes, though? Because of the way that things are perceived inside the fold, as it were?
I think that's the case. I think it's more of acceptance than anything else. Acceptance in the locker room because, you look at athletics is, macho. Athletics is basically, going out there, finding a will and being strong, being better than, and I think it's acceptance in that locker room, which to me, you should, whether someone is gay, whether someone is lesbian, whether someone is heterosexual, it does not matter. It's based on the God-given ability, what they can do on the court, more so what they do when they're home.
Also, a good example of how the league cracked down on this with the statement that came out and the way that they set the tone for how this is playing out now?
Yeah, I think it is. I think, if you wanted to get him suspended for a game, I don't think that was going to happen. It was an important game last night for the Lakers against the Kings season finale. Kobe dropped in 36 points in a Lakers overtime win. But I think the Stern statement, the fine on Kobe Bryant, I think it made a point.
Okay, Marc, great to have you on today.
Thomas, my pleasure.